Hello everybody, it is your boy Get Off My Beard, and today guys, I am going to show you the new and improved way to create a door inside of Unreal Engine. So, if you've ever seen my channel before, one of my most watched videos is actually how to do a door in Unreal Engine. But that was several years ago, and that is no longer even a remotely good way to do it. So that way was using something called Sequencer. Totally irrelevant. It's definitely better to use code to make things happen because the computer can just compute it way faster than graphically. So I'm going to jump right into it. It's really simple to do. You're going to right click, create a blueprint class. You're going to make sure it's an actor, and you're just going to call it door underscore BP underscore tutorial. You can call yours whatever you like. I'm going to add in a static mesh right here. I'm simply going to change this static mesh over to a, just type in box here. Well, you could actually use a mesh. So let's just say that you're going to use the door mesh that you have. So I'm going to say that mine is this one right here. This one is not free, I believe, on the Unreal Engine Marketplace. It is not, but it'll work for our purposes. Okay, so you can see the swivel point is right here. So you could actually rotate the door up and down if you wanted. Okay, or you could just move it up and down. So in this specific case, I'm going to show you how to use it for a rotating door. So you're going to need to rotate on the y-axis. I'm going to go ahead and set this to 0, 0, 0 so that everything is lined up perfectly. I will compile and save. The first thing I want to do is drag this into my level. I want to make sure, before we get any further, that inside of my level, when I hit play, that this door is not too small for my guy to be able to walk through, nor is it too big, and it's huge and massive, all right? Which it's not. It's the perfect size. So that's what we're going to use. Perfect. Next, go ahead and drop in a box collision for this door. Now, you're going to want to size this bad boy up. You could either use the scale tool like this. I haven't really had any issues with that. Or you can use it here. This is probably the more proper way to do it. So I'll put it at 500. And on the Z, I will put this at, say, let's just say 275. I like the sound of that. And on Y, I'm going to make this 250 because I want it to be on both sides of the door. And then I'm simply going to move this into the rough position that it needs to be. It doesn't have to be perfect, but do it somewhat close. And I want to make sure everything is contained inside, just like this. All right? Now, the basic premise of this door is simple. I want the character to be able to go up to the door, and once they're at the door, it will then tell them to press the E key on the keyboard. When they press the E key, the door then rotates open. So go ahead and hit compile and save. Now, let's go ahead and add a text render component. Let's go ahead and put the text in here. Press E to enter. All right. Now, this text is only going to be one way. So the proper way to actually do this would be to do this probably in a widget. But I'm just going to do this and leave this on this for the player for now, just so that you guys know which key we're using, okay? So now that we've done that, it's just a temporary placement. So I'm just going to call this temporary text. And if you want, I can make a tutorial on how to do the widget part, or maybe we'll just do it at the end. We'll see. So the box collision, all right? We're going to scroll down. We're going to click on component begin overlap. Click back on the box, and then also do your end overlap. Perfect. Now, first thing we want to do, when the player enters into the area, we want to cast to our third-person character, or your first-person character, or whatever you're trying to use. Make sure other actor is hooked up. And you can go ahead and cast on this one as well, if you like. Sometimes I like to do that only because it keeps everything spaced out properly so that I know what I'm actually doing. Next, we are going to go ahead and enable input. And on this one, we're going to disable input. Okay? And I move them in just a little bit closer together like this. I'm then going to get the player controller just like that. All right? Pretty simple so far. Looking good. Solid. Now, on our enable input, we're going to want to go into a gate. Now this gate we're going to disconnect, move it up, and we're going to reconnect on open instead of enter. And on enter we're going to drag off. We're going to press E keyboard. Or we're going to type in E keyboard. Now what this code is saying is that when my character is inside of the box, I want to know, can I press the E key? And then if I can press the E key, I want it to do something. But what do we want it to do? Well, this is where the new technique called timelines comes in. So let's go ahead and drag off here and simply type in add timeline. I'm going to call this door rotate animation. Okay? And I'll drag that up a little bit. Now I'm going to double click that. First thing you need to do is decide how long you want it to take for your door to actually open. But you have to remember, it's going to be the exact same amount of time to close. So I'm going to stick with 5 seconds. You could change yours to whatever you want. I'm leaving it at 5. And then we're simply going to click on this add float track. If we scroll with our mouse wheel out, you can see we now have a timeline from 0 to 5 seconds. If you right click, add a key, you're going to want to put the time at 0 and the value at 0. Then we're going to add another key, but the time is going to be at 5 seconds and the value will be 1. 1 simply represents finished. Doesn't represent anything else than that. So once that's done, I'm going to compile and then I'll close this out. Now this is all fine and dandy, but if we were to go up to our door right now, nothing is going to happen. All right? So I put it on the wrong side, but see here? If I hit the E key, nothing happens. Let me take this real quick and let me rotate it 180 degrees and bring it back over here. This way when we hit the play button, you can actually see the press E to enter. All right. So as I said, nothing's actually happening. And that's because we need to actually tell this animation what to move. And that's what this new track 0 right here means on the float, okay? So what we're going to do is drag this out, and we're going to go ahead and type in lerp vector. And what the lerp vector allows us to do is it is a very simple node that allows us to input coordinates that we now want our mesh to abide by. So I'm going to click on my mesh, and you can see here the static mesh is selected. And we need to decide from our 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 values, do we want to rotate? Do we want to just move straight up? Whatever the case is, we need to decide what it is we're going to do. So before we do that, I want to go ahead and make sure that this box is not part of this static mesh. So I'm just going to attach it to the scene root, and then this temporary text I will attach to the static mesh. That way, when our static mesh rotates or moves, the press E to enter goes away with it. All right? So I've decided that I want this to rotate. So starting from 0, we're going to rotate the door. Let's say probably for me, because I know where the other part of the door is going to be, it's going to be 125. So I'll just type in 125. I will copy that, and then I'll put it back to 0. And that's going to be on the Y. I'm going to use my B track, and on the Y, or actually I believe it's the A track, I'm sorry. We're going to rotate it 125 degrees. This may only work for movement. It may not work for rotation. Unless, yeah, you're going to have to do that. So set relative rotation for the static mesh. All right. And let's get rid of this, and we're going to do lerp rotator instead. Okay, and on the B track, this is where we're going to put the 125 degrees that we're going to do. We'll compile and save. Minimize this. Go up to the door. Hit the E key. Oh, what is that? It rotates. What? That's too cool. That is too cool for school. Now, the only problem is it stays there and it never goes back down. Well, we can fix that. So, once our player ends the overlap, meaning that he leaves the area of this box, this surrounding box here that I've selected, right? I want him to delay, because he just walked out of there, for 2 seconds. And then I want to reverse that animation. So I'll hit compile and save. And now, when I go up to this door, and I hit E to enter and walk through it, right? As long as I get outside of that box, I'm not sure if I am on the other side, so I'm just going to stay over here. It will then come back down and end its rotation. And you can actually do this over and over again, which is the really cool thing about having a door blueprint versus having done it in sequencer. So that's how to use and do it for a rotation. Now, if we get rid of this, and let's just say set relative location for the static mesh, which is our door, and this one here I'll use as a lerp vector. Plug that in. Let's just say on the Z I want it to go up by 350. It will work the same way, taking the time to go up, and then when I exit the box 2 seconds later, it reverses back down. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I showed you how to make a rotating door and how to make a regular static door that goes up and down. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please leave a like on the video. And even more importantly than that, please comment down below. Let me know what tutorial you'd like to see next. I'm willing to teach you guys anything that you want to learn to the best of my ability. So leave a comment down below and let me know. Like the video if you can. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that. And just let me know, guys. I'd love to build a community of people that just want to learn. That's what I'm all about. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one.